channel, Jason here. So okay, I hope everybody's keeping well. Looking forward to this Friday night. Mr. Boulder's doing a ranking video of the Twisted Sister discography. I'm looking forward to it. Jurgen as well, he started into showing some of his Overkill collection, which he showed part 1 of it already, and it's going to be good. That's even before he's really ripped into the records yet, so I'm looking forward to hearing his opinions and that stuff, so looking forward to it. Yeah, so hope everybody's keeping well. What we're listening to is City of Living Dead soundtrack, and a bit of a full she mood, so really good soundtrack. Alright, so over the weekend I had a bit of a dig into some Danzig records. No surprises here when you see what I've been listening to. It's that classic period. So I thought I'd show some of those Danzig records and some other stuff I've been listening to that has a similar sort of thread running through it, if you like, aesthetically or something maybe. But okay, before we start, I was talking to Marty at Metal Marty Mac channel, and he was showing an album by Abscess, which had Dennis Dredd artwork on it, which I really like. And we were talking about this book, Hard to Take Cunts. So does anybody remember buying this when it came out? Really good book. The one thing I like about, I watch a lot of the extreme metal boys on here, death metal, black metal stuff, and I really love to watch their videos as well, to see some of that amazing artwork. Even though I don't follow that sort of music particularly, heavily or anything, but this book, it's Dennis Dredd book, compiled by Dennis Dredd, so it features lots of different artists. You've got Ed Rabka stuff in here. Who else is in this? You've got Mark Riddick's in it as well. Joe Pantagno's in it. Paul McCarroll from this neck of the woods, who was in probably still is, was in a really good band called Scald from here. One of the more interesting extreme metal bands from here. They've been about for years. I don't know whether they're still recording or not. I'm sort of out of the loop of what's happening. But yeah, this is an amazing book. Well worth picking up if you didn't. It's got some amazing stuff in it. Some G.G. Allen stuff there. Some Ed Rabka. Eric Donaldson from Watt Kane. Rob Miller from Amebix. There's some other write-up on Joe. Obviously famous for doing a lot of the Motorhead artwork. Yeah, great book. It was good to dig it out again and have a look through it. So, alright, on to some LPs. So here's one. This just is to prove that I do actually buy records. I don't buy half as many records as I see some people on the VC here. It's fascinating to watch. A lot of people do a lot of collection updates and stuff. And I think a lot of these boys are keeping labels and records alive all by themselves. It's amazing. But yeah, this came a couple of months back, I think. Maybe last month. It's the new Mansion album, Second Death. And this band here, I've always been impressed by anything they put out so far, picked up. And this is their second full length. Hold on a second. So yeah, and this is no exception. I'm really impressed with this as well. I'm still digesting this and taking it in, really. But I really love where they take their doom metal. They take what has been is traditional in that doom metal sense of like the aspects of religion and spirituality and stuff, and they wrap it up into just a great place to go, an immersive experience for the listener on their records, especially because, you know, they as we talked about before, they based their whole thing around a religious sect started by, well, a couple of people, but one of them was a lady called Alma Cartona, or Cartono. Alma Cartono, I think that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, very, very bleak and haunting. They were a Finnish religious sect that were against all earthly, carnal desires, and they had some child preachers. When I think of child preachers, I always think of that movie Marjo from the 70s, which is absolutely an amazing documentary. But yeah, they just capture it so well, that sort of bleak, severe, haunting, claustrophobic atmosphere that you would get if you were being brought up in a religion like that. So you get songs on here like The Sword of God, No Funeral. No Funeral, the girl, the lady, the singer in this is like dual vocals in this. The girl sometimes goes into like a witchy Beth Gibbons from Portishead vibe. The male singer, which is good because it adds a sort of duality that you would expect. It gives balance to this being, you know, the subject of a religious cult and stuff. So on the first track, Sword of God, his vocals come in and it reminds you of like Reverend Bazaar or something, the way he sings. Songs like No Funeral, some of it even reminded me of like Queen Adrena, just the way the girl's singing. Bits of Chelsea Wolfe and stuff like that as well. They use traditional doom metal in parts, real heavy stuff, and then they've got like ambient bits and pieces going through it and sort of dark folkiness, and it all adds up to a really good immersive experience. As I say, I'm still digesting it, taking it in. My favourite songs are swapping and changing. More lyrics are popping out to me now, but I'm always impressed by their stuff, and yeah, really like this. The last song, You Are Suspicious, is creepy and brilliant. So what else we get on it? Court of the Sorrowless, Second Death, Heathen Hold. Yeah, Manson's Second Death, their second full-length album. Worth checking out. If you're into doom metal, with that sort of claustrophobic religious atmosphere that goes along with them, it's really fucking good. Alright, next up is a band from the 70s. One of those sort of lost band things. It's a band called Twitch, Dark Years. So this was picked up because of this cover. As if you've watched any of our videos, you know that I'm a sucker for the more trashier, sort of theatrical leaning bands, and that cover, I was just like, okay, give me the record, I'll take it home and listen to it. There's the back of it. So it intrigued me. So what you've got in this is I think this band are from Canada. They released some singles in the 70s, I think. They have a bit of a garagey glam stomp to their tunes, but there's some cracking sort of proto-punk, proto-doom attitude on it, and they set up a whole theatrical show for their live shows, and you can tell some of these songs were written to be performed live, with a little bit of raps and stuff in them. Let me to Raise the Dead and I Am the Wizard. Some of it falls off a cliff into like boring boogie rock, but even stuff on the second side like Vaseline, Roaring Drunk and Jessica, they boogie, but it's powered along in a sort of proto-punk feel to it. It's got loads of energy, and this was all taken from live stuff from Reel to Reel in 1974. It says here, recorded by the band in mono and stereo, live on reel-to-reel in a cold and drafty work shed on Harris Road, Haney, BC, 1974. But yeah, it's worth checking out. These boys, this is, if you can imagine, what do you call that little guy out of that famous black metal band, Mayhem, Euronymous? That's what he would look like there if he wore platforms and blue shiny pants. But yeah, hard not to love this sort of gear. I get a kick out of it. Nothing mind blowing, but still a good listen. All right. I seen that Grave Pleasures have a new album coming out. It could actually be out, but I'm not too sure. But I seen their video for their what did you call the song? Society of Spectres, I think you call it. It's got a real simple video, and it reminds you of like, it has a sort of Kenneth Anger sort of vibe to it. The way it's filmed, it's I think it's really lovely looking video. So I'm looking forward to picking it up. So I pulled out this album over the weekend to give it a listen. Grave Pleasures, Mother Blood. It was Mother's Day the other day as well, wasn't it? Visually, I love this LP sleeve. So this came out in 2017, I think. And I picked this up. Some great inlays on it too. When I picked this up, brought it home, listened to it, and it was so instant that I thought it was going to have a real quick burnout with me, because it really is catchy. Sorry. Yeah, it really is catchy and very instant. So I thought, like, a couple of spins around this, I'll be bored of it. But I keep going back to it. It's sort of like comfort food to me, this little record. It's pretentious as fuck though. And I say that as an old jaded bloke, right? Because if I was 14, 15, 16, I'd be calling this genius. I'm saying that because some of the lyrics in this are a little bit on the nose, a little bit cringy. You know, there's mentions of Charlie Manson and MK Ultra, and slow lyrics like a slow fuck in the bathroom, or death is the meaning of life, high on a mushroom cloud, my heart went boom boom boom, I've fallen for an atom bomb, that sort of thing, right? But there's no denying that this band can write amazing, catchy, hooky tracks. So this is like goth rock, post-punk, but it has a classic rock heart beating away there, and that's why I think this makes this work really well. They've also got David Tibet from Turn 93 doing a little bit of narration. I think that's on Atomic Christ. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing the new album. I'd love to hear what people think about this. I think it's a real catchy record. You can just turn your brain off and boogie to it. I stick it on the kitchen and dance. It's good. Alright, here's another one. I don't want back to pull out. Toy Cross. So this is their debut album. This is Rob Miller and Away from Voivod. Rob Miller from the Musics. First off, this record here, the front of it really reminds heavy of like the first Sabbath record. It has Totem Bells in the album as well, so maybe a little bit of tribute there. But yeah, it reminds you of those Keith Vertigo records from the early 70s. But this is a fine record. I keep going back to this. When it comes to Amoebics, I didn't get into Amoebics till way later on. I knew of them, heard bits and pieces of bands like that and Cross and stuff, but I never paid much attention to them. When Amoebics sort of rebooted the band and put out that Sonic Mass LP, is when I started to really pay attention to them. But I come back to this way quicker than I come back to Sonic Mass. So this has great songs on it, like Lazarus, Fire in the Sky, Midsummer, We Control the Fear, You People, Prison, Sons of the Soil, The Lie, Our Day, and The Dark, The Devil Knows His Own. Sort of, they have a real earthiness. They capture real earthiness on this record. Sometimes it moves more into sort of music that I wouldn't usually be interested, like a modern metal vibe to it, but they never seem to cross that line and to turn me off, you know. They keep it really earthy, and there's bits of, you know, like I can hear bits of New Model Army in it, Killing Joke, you know. Rob Miller's got a cracking voice. He has that little bit of a Lemmy rasp in his voice. But yeah, great album. I know there's a lot of people who won't pay attention to Toy Cross or Amoebic Sny because of the controversy surrounding Rob Miller, which ended up getting their third album pulled by Relapse. But I really enjoy this record, man. They're really, really, really good. I keep going back to it, and it's just something about it, the vibe of it, I really dig. Oh, so how's everybody enjoying their satanic doo-wop? Twin Temple. I'd love to hear your impressions of this, because this has been sort of marketed towards a heavy metal crowd. I think the last time I heard anything about this band, they were on tour with Ghost. But this is the original issue of this record that the band put out, self-financed, on their own label, and I think I bought this directly from the band that signed here, Hail Satan, Twin Temple. So this came out, and then Rise Above snapped them up, signed them, and put a different sleeve on it. I think it's the same track listing and all, I'm not too sure. I don't own that copy, but yeah, they put a more exploitative cover than this, with the girl with the goat head and exposed breasts and blood pouring down the front of her. But yeah, this record is really well done, really well written, and for a band that financed this themselves, you know, the production and all is really good on it. They're, from what I hear, their last single I heard, their songwriting's got a lot better. Yeah, this starts to bore me a little bit as I go through it, but I enjoy the era that this band are invoking anyway, you know. Like the golden age of American rock and roll and doo-wop, soul and rhythm and blues. So some of this really works for me. I don't know where they're going to go with it, really, to tell you the truth, but it'll be interesting to keep an eye on them. And yeah, say it's nice to have the first issue of this record. So, Twin Temple, Hail Satan. Here's one, Magic Circle, we've been spinning again. So I think this came out, oh my lord, when did this come out? 2011 or something, maybe this came out. This is the first Magic Circle record. I think this band are from Boston. Quite a popular band in those circles. This reminds me of it reminded me enough of R13 to pull out one of their records I'm going to show here in a minute. Maybe a bit of Witchcraft. Sort of traditional metal and that sort of 70s hard rock sound. Wee bit of a retro tinge to the production and stuff. But the reason I bought this record after hearing the opening track on this, which is Winter Light, which is fantastic. This guy's got amazing pipes. It's just a great voice. Sort of has that soulful mid-70s Aussie vibe to his voice, you know. But yeah, I'd love to see if there's any fans of Magic Circle out there. This is got great riffs, and I'd say that singer is just superb. Even some of the riffs in this, some of the guitar lines remind me of they go into bits and every now and again they go into bits and pieces it remind me of Warning, the band, the doom metal band Warning. You know, those sort of riffs that just put on your emotions. But it's mostly it's got like a late 70s sort of vibe to it. That 70s riff rock sort of stuff. But it's not boring, just groove. It's just great traditional metal in it as well. So yeah, brilliant. Magic Circle, I really enjoyed listening to this again. Yeah, it made me pull out this R13 record, the debut album. So when this came out, 2007 or something, this came out in Shadow Kingdom Records, and I picked this up. Yeah, so some of this album drags a wee bit for me, but some of it's really impressive. So Phil Swanson singing on this. He has a great voice. His voice always reminds me of like the first Count Raven album. Has a classic doom metal sort of voice. Chad Davis, the guy who plays guitar and all the other instruments in this, is a very talented riff writer and songwriter. All-round musician. He's played in lots of different projects. He's a bit above a ball bag though, because he ripped me off at one point. I ordered some. I wasn't a lot of money, but I ordered a tape of one of his new projects, and he kept giving me excuses for why he hadn't sent it for months and months, and just lying through his teeth. And then he stopped responding to any of my emails and stuff, so I lost my money. But what goes around comes around, right? But yeah, this is some of this is really, really brilliant. I say some of it drags. You call to Satan, submissive to evil, a correlation, endurement to the heirs of shame, grim reality, hacks of harm, alliance of sin, and missing girl. 8 tracks, some amazing riffs on it. Doom metal, trad metal, you know what I mean. Traditional sound of metal. When this guy really goes at his guitar, sometimes I do hear a little bit of accept and stuff in his music. This is more of a doomier end of things. Great opening track, and it's called to Satan. So yeah, R13 from 2007. Good record. I'm going to change this record. Turn this record over. Okay, next up is In Solitude's third record, Sister. Yeah, when this came out, when did this come out? 2013 or something? Yeah. When this one came out, there was a lot of people disappointed that they moved away from the more traditionalist elements of the heavy metal they were playing. I was impressed with their second record and where they were going with it, but I don't think anybody's prepared for where they went in this. Not that it's completely drastic, and like they created something new here or anything. This album's a wee bit overrated, I think. But it's still a brilliant record. So you've got songs. The song on this called "A Buried Son" is an amazing track. Well worth hearing if you haven't heard this album. I think a lot of people have heard this. But Lavender Sister, Horses in the Ground, Pallid Hands, He Comes, the intro track. Yeah. They got a bit of stick when this came out from people who were disappointed where they were going with it, because it moves into, like, I suppose, post-punk sort of edge to it, whatever. They're just trying something different, and this is what they left us with. This is their last record. The singer on this is brilliant. I've always loved his vocals. The young fella too, but he's obviously an old soul. But yeah, In Solitude, Sister. Really enjoyed the record. It was good to hear it again. And I don't know, it might be my favourite In Solitude record. I like the second one too. The first one was, I didn't get the hype about it. You know, you can hear bits of Merciful Fate and their stuff and their sound. By this point, it's moving into something darker and different. It separated them from those bands that they were getting lumped into as well, which is, I think, what they wanted to do. I mean, they done it naturally. You know, it doesn't sound like it's forced or anything. But I can imagine they were pissed off being pigeonholed into a lot of what do you call it, the new wave of traditional heavy metal, or whatever people call it nowadays. But they created some really cool, dark music on this. What's up on my record there? But yeah, In Solitude, Sister. Oh my god, it's a long video. Okay. Samhain is the band, like the call themselves. Initium. So I've had this since the 90s. I picked this up, but it's very off-putting. My old record player starting to go, I think. So yeah, Samhain and Initium. Good to hear this again. Really garagey, dark vibe on this record that I really like. You know, like the Howl, Archangel, He Cannot Be Named, All Murder, All Guts, All Fun. Yeah. What else can you say about this? Well, never listened to this as much as I listened to Danzig back when I was younger, but it's still a brilliant record. Samhain and Initium. Alright, some Danzig stuff. Just gonna go fly through these. I mean, well, who doesn't know these albums, right? So, first one, the debut album by Danzig. Yeah, what a great record. Still sounds good. Remember learning the main riff to Twist the Cane when I was a kid, transferring it on the bass. That's all I needed to know. I was off and running. But yeah, superb Danzig record. Probably my favourite Danzig record, maybe. Depends what we're doing, doesn't it, really? It's Danzig 2, Lucifuge. Can understand why a lot of people, you know, think Danzig's just this cheese ball. They just don't like it, right? It's one of those bands and one of those people that people are just put off by. But I've always enjoyed his stuff. And this album leans really into the bluesier sound and all as well. It's a classic record. Danzig 3, Fire the Gods Kill. Another brilliant record. And still keep the classic when you know, Danzig's got that sort of Jim Morrison, Ian Astbury, Billy Idol, Elvis party howl going on, and some people just can't hack it. And sometimes when I'm listening to his stuff, when he's going into like, you just want to raise your lip like Elvis and that fucking can be annoying. But these first 4 records still brilliant. And lastly, Danzig 4, sometimes referred to as Danzig 4P, as you can see on that, which was probably Danzig's reference to the Process Church, the Final Judgment. Sometimes referred to as 4P because on their emblem, their religious emblem, was 4 Ps to represent the gods in their mythology. Satan, Jehovah, Jesus, and Lucifer. And it was shaped like a swastika. But they were dragged into a lot of sensationalist sort of publicity by people like Maury Terry's sort of The Ultimate Evil book, which just pulls all these different threads to create all these different murders and different religious sects and whatever, to create this underground of, like, you know, an evil that was trying to destroy Western civilization and culture. This is probably where Danzig's taken this from. Obviously a lot of it was a load of bullshit, like a lot of those books are. Just sensationalist crap. There's the amazing inner sleeve for this record, or inner gatefold, but what is that about? I don't know. I think this, have you got this record and it's like that? I don't know why. There's supposed to be the yin and yang thing in the middle of it, but this has absolutely zero. But this is a great album. You can hear it, you're playing around the loops and different vibe on this record too. They create some absolutely amazing stuff. So yeah, it was good to listen to these Danzig records again. I do like some of the other Danzig stuff later on, but he never captured this, and he has tried. He just never captured this again with that original lineup. John Christ knew how to play with these songs too. Yeah, so Sorry, my phone cut off there. As I was saying, Danzig 4, another cracker record, and it was good to listen to them again and play them. So that's it, and thanks for watching, and I will see you all soon, hopefully. Take care, bye.